To talk about food waste, we can ask ourselves one question. What do bananas look like? Yes, yellow, crescent shape. These are bananas too. But we don't buy them. Customers don't buy them. So plantations must create yellow, crescent shaped bananas or they won't sell. And these will be thrown away. Furthermore, after all effort and carbon emissions to deliver the bananas from one country to another, those unsold or uneaten are thrown away again. And that is our first lesson to food waste and food loss. So, we've talked about fashion and how dangerous it can be if we don't make fashion sustainable and ethical. Today, we're going to look at another aspect of our life that's close to us, food. On top of how much of what we do is not regenerative, i.e. not beneficial for the environment, there is another major issue that we need to address, and that is food waste and food loss. Food loss and food waste really mean the same thing, except where the waste occurs. Generally, it's easier to understand as food waste as food being wasted on the consumer side, whereas food loss are food headed for the garbage bin even before reaching us. Like the banana example that we shared at the start, non-standard bananas produced and thrown away or damaged during transportation, they are counted as food loss. Bananas unsold at supermarkets, or perhaps we buy too much and they get spoiled before we can eat them, those will be food waste. According to the United Nations Food Waste Index Report 2021, every year, an average person from a high-income country will waste these amounts of food. 13 kg retail, about 110 bananas every year. 26 kg food services, about 220 bananas every year. 79 kg in households, about 670 bananas every year. Remember, the title for this video is Bad Design, which refers to how badly designed our food systems really are. Of course, on the individual level, we should not waste food, as we can see from the staggering amount of food wasted in households. However, we still need system-level solutions to help us tackle food waste and food loss from other sources. For example, in Japan, the bento meals sold at convenience stores prioritize freshness. Food is thrown away if nobody buys them, even though we know the food is still edible. The relative poverty rate in Japan is 15.7%, and yet we are still throwing so much food. As of 2019, Japan still throws 5.7 million kg of food which can feed the poor. 5.7 million kg of food. Well, in terms of bananas, that's about. So we need to change the system to make sense to reduce wasted food. We should change our business models to redefine the best of dates, or to make less bento meals. In fact, many companies do change their business models after realizing that they can save money by making less deliveries. In terms of deliveries, we can also design the food system to promote local production for local consumption. Just imagine the amount of carbon emissions we can cut by reducing food transportation, getting food from local farmers. And talking about carbon emissions, food waste can produce greenhouse gases. Food waste sometimes land up in the landfills, which decomposes to produce methane gas, a gas that is 28 times worse than carbon dioxide in terms of global warming effects. Quoting the United Nations Environment Programme, if food loss and waste were a country, it would be the third biggest source of greenhouse gas emissions. The points we've covered are really just a fraction of the problems of food. We haven't covered topics like sustainable farming, rearing of animals, and how fairly these producers are being paid. But perhaps one of the biggest issues, and perhaps you have heard of this, is meat. You probably have heard from your vegan friends about stop eating meat. While they may disagree on eating meat on philosophical and moral terms, there is a more urgent reason that validates their conviction, and that is global warming. Producing meat, whether it be beef or pork, releases greenhouse gases, and again it's the problem with our system with the method. Cattle and rice fields alone are responsible for 50% of methane released into our atmosphere. Beef takes up 20% more land and produces 20% more emissions than beans. meat production is far more resource intensive than plant-based foods. So there are a lot of problems related to cattle rearing now, and producers need to do better. So we can definitely redesign the way we produce and use food better. Sustainable productions, local first, improved business models, proper disposal, composting. We have many ways to make systemic and individual changes.